I just grabbed a manual from the back. He was packaging up some of this fresh coffee. Hopefully my tasting notes line up with what you taste.
Let's find out.
It's actually much different than I thought it was going to taste. All right, here we are again, back at the cupping table. Lots of fresh new coffees coming in over the last couple weeks. This is a brand new Colombia. It's our Palestina from the Huila growing region. This is a Castillo variety. So far smelling very chocolatey, kind of some like allspice. Colombias are another sort of staple coffee for us that we try to keep in stock all the time, or at least when we have great ones in season that are available. With Colombias, I find that they are sort of the other side of the coin of a coffee like a Guatemala, at least the ones that we tend to buy. The Guatemalas are pretty predictable. Similar with Colombias, they're also very predictable. It's not such a standard like hazelnut kind of chocolate profile it goes for. It might have a little bit more fruit quality. It might be a little bit more dynamic. It's definitely sort of in that lane for the similar customer who likes really chocolatey, full-bodied, nice unctuous coffees that aren't too overly complicated, but are also nuanced enough that they're impressive and dynamic and interesting. So I won't waste any time. We're going to pour some water and start to figure out how these taste. See how much like bloom is coming off of those. And the bloom is just the CO2 gas. So when it's really fresh, you get a lot of gas. It's like a chemical reaction. Something I also really appreciate about a lot of Colombias that we tend to buy are just the consistency of the grading quality. Like if you look through this, it's incredibly consistent, color-wise and size-wise. There are very few that stick out that it might be slightly paler, but none really darker. And that's always a good indication of quality control at the farm level or at the co-op where it's processed. This coffee's been very well taken care of, and it shows. The last one that we had was, that this is replacing, was one of the best Colombias I've had in a long time. And what's nice about kind of replacing a great coffee with another great coffee from a similar region is just sort of refreshing what you're already used to, and gaining back some of that sort of vibrancy that might be lost as the previous crop starts to fade. This will have a little bit more acidity, more life. It just tastes alive when it's a fresh crop. Okay, I'm ready to break the crust here. All right, let's get down to it. So I'm gonna take a first pass on these while they're hot, and then we're just gonna do a couple passes while they're cool, see what flavors and what the acidity does as it sort of cools off, because that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing with this coffee is what the vibrancy and the acidity is of a fresh crop. It's actually much different than I thought it was going to taste. Just based on the aroma, I had a completely different impression, but it's lighter than I thought. In a nice way, like the flavors are very delicate. There's like some stone fruit, some plum, stuff I didn't smell in it, but is pretty obvious. And then it has some of the like hallmark qualities of a Colombian Castillo coffee as well. It's got some of that sort of that spiciness I was mentioning. But already I can tell it's very balanced. It is developed, it's a sweet spice. So far, another great Colombia. Okay, now I'm getting some of the acidity, and it's nice, it's up front. It doesn't linger into the rest of the flavor, it doesn't impact it, but it's clearly a fresh crop. It's also becoming much more complex too as it cools off. Much more obviously kind of a more fruit-forward coffee. It's still chocolatey, it's still very sweet, but it's very plummy, it's very stone fruit. Yeah, there's depth to it in a really nice way. And it's also just very like simply sweet in a sort of like brown sugar kind of way. Not too overly complicated as far as sweetness goes, but that sort of combination of like of that really rich sort of brown sugar with the nuance of the allspice, and that really solid like stone fruit base is making it a pretty balanced coffee. stamp of approval. If I had to put taste notes on the bag right now, I would call it brown sugar, plum, and allspice.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Emmanuel. I'm gonna be cupping some new Colombia with Sam today, and it's my first time ever cupping, so let's see how it goes. So just and grab any one of these here?
Yeah, I mean, I always start at this end, but
Okay.
they're all from the same batch, so it doesn't really matter. But I poured this one first, so maybe if you start there.
Awesome.
You're kind of like doing the reverse spit when you
Right.
do this. It's like misting in the inside of your mouth with coffee.
Just like a mountain like that?
Yep. You can be more aggressive too. Like
Yeah, that didn't mist anything.
Yeah.
It's just like taking a sip of
Little slurp.
coffee.
yeah, if you do more of like a quick aggressive one, it's
Okay. Okay.
and then I sort of
Right.
swish it around because you want to
Mhm.
really like test your palate, you know, and see like, does
Right.
this impact the side of my tongue or the middle or the tip? Is it sweeter? Is it more sour?
Okay. I mean, it tastes great. It's definitely different from the Colombia we have right now.
Yeah, the one we have right now is more like chocolate and caramel.
Yeah.
It's really simple, but this one is a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more fruit forward,
Hmm.
more nuanced. I find there's a bit of like something spicy, like an allspice or a baker's spice or something in there.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, that comes in at the end, I feel.
It's a very nuanced finish part
Yeah.
of it.
Let's see if I can get this slurp down.
It takes practice too.
It's almost similar to the Guatemala we had a few batches ago. Yeah, like a little more fruity. It wasn't as like chocolatey as the Guatemala we have now, but it's kind of like, it's definitely more complex than the Colombias we've had before.
Yeah,
Like,
it's got a little bit of like just flavors I haven't tasted in a coffee in a while.
yeah.
Which is perfect for summer, you know, to have like a really like sweet, plummy kind of like fruit forward coffee
Yeah.
that's not super weird or acidic. It's really balanced. It's really easy to drink.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'd use. Like the balance of this one is, you know, you don't get like the overpowering fruit kind of like the Tanzania, but with this one you get, yeah, a really fresh summer coffee, I'd say. Like a great fruit tasting in the beginning, and then it gets a little complex at the end, but it still stays, you know, they work together.
Man, we're gonna have to cup together more often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.